I do believe the streak has come to an end, so the man who last beat Ricky Carmichael does the job again. Your winner, moto number 1 at the Hangtown Classic, Kevin Windham. Last weekend, Kevin Windham became the first rider to beat Ricky Carmichael in a 250 moto since he did it back in July of 2001. Ricky Carmichael will take second.
Ricky kind of stunned, like, so where do I go? Usually I win and I go over there.
However, Ricky Carmichael would win the second moto and grab his 89th career overall victory, tying Jeremy McGrath in the record books. Today, RC attempts to stand alone atop the AMA Pro Racing's all-time wins list. And welcome to Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, High Point Raceway for the AMA Chevy Trucks U.S. Motocross Championship. These are the Thor Nationals from High Point Raceway. Glad to have you along, Todd Harris, along with David Bailey and Cameron Steele. And what a great day for racing, David. Look at the track. It looks to be impeccable condition.
Oh, it's spectacular today. Yesterday was a little bit muddy. There was threat of rain, but it has turned out perfect. The crowd is here. The track has never been better.
Well, the points lead, it's that man. Ricky Carmichael looks determined, looks a little bit angry, too. And Ricky Carmichael had the streak broken a week ago by Kevin Windham. But the plan now is to get that streak going once again. There you see the AMA all-time win list, top 5. There's McGrath and Carmichael tied at 89, and then Hurricane Hannah coming in at 70. And here's exactly how Ricky's done it. It's been even, 125, 250, and in the 250 Supercross circuit. Ricky Carmichael looking very good in practice, feeling home here at High Point Raceway. And prior to practice, we talked to him about chasing history and what he has in store for today.
Our #1 goal is to win the title, so we need to do whatever we can do to secure that. And second on the list would be the record. You know, to be the all-time AMA winningest rider would be phenomenal. And, you know, I'm just going to go out there and do the best I can. I feel really, really comfortable today. My bike is working excellent, and but there's a lot of good guys out there, so we're going to see what happens.
Well, Ricky's intelligent indeed, David. Here's one of those good guys, Kevin Windham, the man who will always be known as the one who broke the streak.
Well, he's the one who broke the streak before with Ricky, and then he broke it again in the first moto last week. This was Glen Helen. He went down. He's had a couple of little mistakes, but Kevin is very dangerous. If he can stay on that bike, he can stop Ricky Carmichael.
Well, unfortunately, at both races this year, I fell in one or two of the motos, and last weekend at Sacramento, I was able to start the bike a lot better than I was at Glen Helen. Once I landed on the ground, I focused and went through the checklist and got everything going the proper way. And it's really not hard to start if you just take your time and not get excited. But I hope to not take any of this Mount Morris soil home with me. I'm kind of tired of taking diggers, but at the same time, I'm pushing and I'm trying hard. And a lot of times when you do that, that's just a kind of a phase you go through, and I think that I'll work through it. I just need to get to where I'm a little bit more comfortable with the pace, and because I'm here to do whatever it takes to get up there and beat Ricky.
So Carmichael and Windham become the main course, and there's a little seasoning, David. Sebastian Tortelli, injured, will not race. More troubles for Suzuki.
Well, he has been so fast. Every time I see Tortelli come by, I'm thinking, man, he's going to be a player. But this was yesterday. He injured his knee. I think he hyperextended it. Lusk has been kind of lukewarm. I mean, I thought he looked pretty aggressive at the first round at Glen Helen, but then at Hangtown last week, a couple of 11s. Fonseca still hasn't been able to really get up in there. Speaking of 11s, look at that finish at Glen Helen. That's been his best, so he needs to pick it up. All the Yamaha guys have been strong. David Billiman, the weak link on that team at the moment, and that's because when he broke his back in Daytona, he couldn't really do much. He injured his foot at the same time, couldn't ride a bicycle, so he's just still battling his fitness right now.
Well, we will see what will happen. One thing we do know, the weather is absolutely perfect. 75 degrees and partly cloudy. Chance of rain, but hopefully it'll hold off. Right now on the line, here's the drama developing. Larry Ward having problems, and he's got a conglomeration of talent down there. It's like the Politburo of the industry trying to get his bike going. I'll tell you what, Larry Ward, though, will find a way. For more on that, let's check in with the third member of our broadcast team, Cameron Steele. Well, guys, the bikes are finally fired up. Larry Ward getting his bike up to the line late. You saw he had some sort of axle problem. The guys working together, but Larry will make the race. We saw this in Supercross before, where Larry had a problem, came back, got his motor fixed, and he got in the hole shot, was on fire. We'll we'll see if that works again for him today. See if he gets the whole shot in motor number 1.
Now notice, thanks a lot, Cameron. Notice that the fork guard is missing off the right side, so you may not be able to hold that front end down and keep that thing from wheeling off the line.
There is your Suzuki starting grid. All the normal players are there, and quite a sight across from what we see at Supercross with just 20 guys in the line. Now we're looking at 40, everyone gunning for that whole shot. Not quite as important, though, in Supercross, David.
Well, with Carmichael riding as fast as he is out front, the start has become a lot more important now.
And we are off for the Thor Nationals. And Bailey looking into his crystal ball. It's Ricky Carmichael and Sean Hamlin going to the front for the whole shot.
It looked like Wyndham got caught sleeping at the gate. So a bad start. This is the kind of start Reed needed, and Wyndham somehow snuck. I don't know. That was a miracle the way he went around the first corner to get himself into that position. As he was about 15th going into the first corner. Billiman was way back as well, and he came out in good shape.
Well, we've talked about the confidence for Chad Reed, number 22 on the Yamaha. This is exactly what he needs, running with the big dogs. It's Carmichael in first, number 4. Number 14, Kevin Wyndham in second, and number 22, Chad Reed running in third.
This is just what Chad needs to do, is get a chance to ride with these guys, and he's going to learn from the 2 fastest riders in the world right now. Kevin, in these early laps, is dangerous. He can take it to Ricky. As soon as you give Ricky a, I don't know, 50-yard lead or so, he just seems you cannot seem to close that in. But in the early laps, he's very vulnerable, especially to a guy with fast as Kevin Wyndham.
And this is something we haven't seen a lot of, Ricky Carmichael getting whole shots. Usually it's Carmichael in third or fourth working his way up through the pack and picking people off. But now Carmichael has the lead on the first lap. Kevin Wyndham, number 14 in second, is starting to threaten.
Little mistake there by Carmichael. Kevin setting him up.
Carmichael on left, Wyndham on the right of your screen, and it's Wyndham taking the inside line. Ricky Carmichael loses it, and Carmichael comes right back but cannot close the door. We'll see the power they both got going up the hill, and it's back to Carmichael, number 4.
Wow, look at that. Carmichael just muscling his way back into the lead right there. Great move by Wyndham, but even a better move by Carmichael to come back in there and stop it. Keith Johnson already out of the race. Too bad for him, but look at the lead these guys already have. I think the best thing for Carmichael right now to keep Reed off of his tail is the fact that Kevin entered the series. Now he's so busy trying to beat him, he's putting distance on Chad.
Well, no question about it, as Ricky goes for a tear-off there. Number 4, your leader, Carmichael, having some psychological problems with Chad Reed during the Supercross season, just could not get his number. Now he's got to deal with Kevin Wyndham, and maybe that's the best thing for Carmichael. The champion, the defending champ here right now, looking very good, and if you can pull away from Kevin Wyndham, you're doing something right, and Wyndham just keeps coming right back.
Now he's making Ricky's got to go over there and protect that inside. He's thinking about Kevin back there, and you know, going back to the start, the fact that he got the whole shot, this is the first dirt start we've had so far. That might have made some of the difference. Plus, it's going up a hill, and that 450 is so fast, you can't even open it all the way up, or you'll wheelie.
During the Supercross season, I would have said something like this with Chad Reed behind Ricky is going to cause problems, but for Kevin Wyndham, it almost makes Ricky ride better.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's more worried about Kevin getting all this. Listen to the people. That's pretty. Sorry, Ricky, but a lot of that is for Kevin right now. Not because they don't like Ricky, just because it's so refreshing and they're so excited to see Kevin come back and do so well. We knew he could, but the fact that he's actually doing it makes it that much more exciting, and Ricky's over it. He's like, hey, I'm going for the all-time winningest record. Everyone's cheering for the wrong guy.
Carmichael right now sitting at 89 victories, tied with the great Jeremy McGrath, looking for 90 today, and he's got his hands full with number 14, Kevin Wyndham out of Centerville, Mississippi, on board the Honda Factory Connection ride, looking very good. Here's a young man who took over a year off from the circuit, and here he is pushing the defending champion. Your leader, number 4, Ricky Carmichael.
Already, Carmichael starting to just inch away. Reed starting to close in, so Kevin, you know, we've seen him get hole shots and get out front, but we haven't seen him start from behind and see how he deals with that.
3 of the fastest men on a motorcycle possibly in the world going 1, 2, and 3. It's Carmichael, Wyndham, and Chad Reed, number 22, sitting in third. Factor in James Stewart, and you'd have quite a foursome.
Well, that's where we're headed eventually. And I think Chad's only 20 years old. Timmy Ferry is really starting to do well. This is where he's a little bit more comfortable outdoors. I think the bike suits him a little bit better. Kevin's proof of that. A lot of people questioning whether David Billiman should be on a 4-stroke or not. And, you know, for the riders that drive like Kevin with a lot of throttle control and finesse, the bike is perfect.
There is your running order from Mount Morris. We'll be back for more of the Thor Nationals after this. Welcome back to Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, High Point Raceway for the Thor Nationals AMA Chevy Trucks U.S. Motocross Championships. Todd Harris along with David Bailey and Cameron Steele. Your leader in race number 1, Ricky Carmichael, number 4 on board the Honda. Behind him, the man on the Factory Connection Honda is number 14, Kevin Windham. Right now we're looking at Mike LaRocco in 10th place, a young man that, well, I use young loosely, but he's a veteran.
He just got around John Dowd. Dowd got him back. Dowd riding an excellent race right now, and look who he's with. He's with Lusk and Mike LaRocco, guys that are very proven. He's in fast company, but they're pretty far back right now. Not the best of starts, and I'm surprised that LaRocco and Lusk aren't moving up a little bit quicker than this.
Do you think it's injury problems? There's John Dowd currently sitting in 10th place for the Rock. Do you think it's still working on that shoulder injury?
Yeah, and I can, Carmichael's down. So now you got Windham as the new leader. He was starting to reel Ricky in a little bit. I don't know if that affected him and made him pick it up, make that mistake, but LaRocco and Lusk, you know, they both entered the series coming off of injuries, and I think they're just trying to race their way back into shape, but it doesn't seem like they're getting better. It seems like, if anything, they're getting a little bit worse.
Mike LaRocco on the left, Ezra Lusk on the right, number 11. There's Chad Reed, number 22, sitting in third. He's starting to get pressure now from his teammate, number 15, Tim Ferry. Ferry in the all-blue Yamaha ride. Chad Reed with the white jersey, number 22, the Australian who pushed Ricky Carmichael the absolute limit in the Supercross Series. Timmy Ferry sitting in 4th place, and no love lost between Chad and Tim, and Tim likes staying on the podium.
Yeah, they're definitely in a good battle with each other. It's hard to tell if they're friends or not, by what they say anyways. There's the gap. Windham, the new leader. Ricky, the lap, usually right after he makes a mistake, he just puts together a solid lap to get back in there and not give. You cannot let Kevin get confident or feel comfortable out there. He'll go even faster, and then it'll be really tough for Ricky to catch him.
So number 4, Ricky Carmichael, the factory ride Honda, is in 2nd place. Kevin Windham has inherited 1st place, and just as David Bailey said it, Ricky Carmichael is turning over a very fast lap. David, with this track with so much off camber, does it favor one of these two riders more?
You know, that's a great question, Todd, and the fact that there are so many off cambers that are tough to get stopped for, I'd like to think that the 250 or even the 125 guys, but the 250 is going to be a little easier to stop. That 450, that motor's bigger, you got a little bit of more inertia and gyro effect, and we try to lay that thing over and go the other way. It still wants to keep going straight, a little more than a 250 would.
Kevin Windham absolutely lighting up the track with a 218.051. For more on that, let's check in with Cameron Steele, who's with John Hyland.
How have the lap times been? Can Kevin stay ahead of him based on what you guys know so far?
They're within, they'll be dead even, 2/10. Ricky will take 2/10. Kevin will take 3/10 back. They're right together.
Thank you.
All right.
John Hyland, Kevin Windham's mechanic. And this certainly looks like a precursor to what we've been seeing the whole circuit long, all the way down to Delmont, Pennsylvania. Windham and Carmichael, 1 and 2, 2 and 1. They seem interchangeable. Right now, it's Windham, number 14, out in front. Carmichael, number 4, sits in 2nd.
Well, Ricky busted out a 216 to reel Kevin back in, so Kevin can definitely feel the pressure, which is something he used to struggle with. Ride a little tight or get arm pump or whatever, and he seems to be immune to that during his comeback, which is great because that allows him to ride at his potential, and Kevin's potential is pretty impressive.
Well, that last graphic really tells the tale of the domination of Ricky Carmichael. His last overall loss came back in 2001 of July. That's almost 2 years ago, so the guy does not know that taste and certainly does not want it back. Carmichael sitting in 2nd right now, trying to reel in Windham, almost too close on that last corner.
Up the big uphill, you think Ricky's got the corner speed. He's got to have that corner speed and get in there and just plow because he's going to get pulled a little bit up those big hills. So far, he's been able to make up a little bit more than he's losing. Wow, that's jumping down those stairs. It's so off camber right there that your front end bottoms out and the front end deflects because you're landing on an off camber. It's one of the sections that just takes sheer strength. There's nothing fun about that section. It's just pure technical. Look at that, the aggressiveness of Ricky. He wants to lead back right now. He's not satisfied to be patient.
Carmichael launches himself back into 1st place, and Kevin Windham has to concede. Carmichael extremely fast, as David pointed out, turning a 216 on the last lap, and it's Carmichael, after a short fall, brief time in the dirt here at Mount Morris, back on top, and now it's Kevin Windham's turn to try to reel in Carmichael.
Yeah, it's hard to say if Kevin didn't just go, you know what, he's catching me anyway, let me just get back there and take the pressure off, put the pressure on him.
It's Carmichael, Windham, Reed, and Ferry, the top 4. We'll be back to Mount Morris for more after this short break.
Digital Channel 110.
Welcome back to the Thor Nationals, Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, near Morgantown, West Virginia, High Point Raceway. Todd Harris along with the champ David Bailey and Cameron Steele. Race number 1, it's Ricky Carmichael out in the lead, Kevin Windham in second, Chad Reed in third, and he is having a battle right now with teammate and fellow Yamaha rider number 15, Timmy Ferry.
The top 3 are jumping that big double right there. Ferry not doing it, not really losing that much time either. He's been hounding Chad this entire moto, but the real news, I think, is the fact that they're 20 seconds behind that battle for the lead. I mean, that's just, I don't know where all that time is coming from. You know, I think Kevin's very comfortable on this racetrack, and he's forcing Ricky to ride at a pace that carried him to 24 moto wins in a row last year, and Chad's finding out that he's got a lot of work to do to catch up to those guys.
Right now, the 2-strokes are going 1 and 3, the 4-strokes 2 and 4 in position. There's Ernesto Fonseca, Mike LaRocco coming into view, number 5 on board the Honda. And you make a good point, David. Where did all that time come from? But I think the battle between Carmichael and Windham has been amazing, as is Mike LaRocco, as he just flies past fellow Honda rider Ernesto Fonseca.
Yeah, these guys have been having a great battle, and Hamlin, we can see just in front of him, Hamlin was actually running in 5th for a little while, and his front end washed out, and he allowed Villeman to get by. So Villeman now holds down 5th ahead of all these guys, and I'm wondering if Villeman's fitness is going to allow him to hold him off, because these guys are pushing so hard amongst each other, they're starting to reel David back in a little bit.
There you see Sean Hamlin in 6th place on board the Suzuki. One of the bright spots for Suzuki this year with the loss of Travis Pastrana, now Tortelli going down. So Roger DeCoster once again having some problems keeping his riders healthy. Maybe they're pushing the limits too much. We'll have to wait and see as the season wears on. That's number 5, the Rock, Mike LaRocco, getting a good run. And the white flag is out. Ricky Carmichael on the final lap is your leader.
And you don't see Kevin Windham back there anymore. He's there. He's pretty close, but not really close enough. This was the pass for the lead. Over the finish line jump, Ricky just sails out to the flat. Bam! Lands hard. He's strong enough to absorb those kinds of impacts. Just cuts off Kevin's line and lets him know, hey, you know what? You're not going to beat me again. You might think you can, but you're not going to. And he pulled away just to prove it.
There's Carmichael now coming into some lap traffic, and these guys are going to be thinking, you got to be kidding me. Carmichael already?
Yeah, especially for Nathan Ramsey just up ahead of Ricky, but he had a broken femur, and he's still not quite up to par. He'll get it together.
Well, Carmichael continues to move through traffic and pick up yet another victory. This time, the first race at Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. High Point Raceway, your winner, Ricky Carmichael. The battle for third now, and this is a good one, Timmy Ferry and number 22, Chad Reed, who's currently sitting in third.
These guys battled the whole moto, but I think they're going to sit in the truck between races going, how in the heck are we going to catch that guy?
Your winner, Carmichael. We'll be back and talk to him after this short break. Mike Jones from nearby Export, Pennsylvania, led the early laps of the Mount Morris 250 National Moto number 1. Number 1, Jean-Michel Bale, grabbed and held the lead for a while until number 2, Jeff Stanton, and number 4, Damon Bradshaw, got by the defending champ. Stanton and Bradshaw would go at it for a while until Bradshaw finds a drier line around the outside, getting by and cruising to the win. The nasty weather stuck around for Moto number 2, and the slick track plus Bradshaw's rear tire put the Honda rider down. Stanton would end up third overall. 7-time national champion Jeff Ward had the lead, but would not be able to hold off the hard-charging Damon Bradshaw. Ward would fade to 5th, while Jean-Michel Bale moved past number 3, Mike Kudrowski, and into 2nd. However, Damon Bradshaw was long gone and finished off his first win of the 92 season with a 1-1 sweep. And welcome back to the Thor Nationals here at Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, just outside of Morgantown at High Point Raceway. Just saw Ricky Carmichael pick up another win, and let's send it down to Cameron.
Hey, Ricky, that was a heck of a race. You guys had a battle going on out there.
Yeah, it was good. Me and Kevin got a good start. I got the whole shot, man. That felt good. And I tell you what, man, it was awesome. We got out there, and I was pulling away, and I fell down, and Kevin got by me, and I tried to put in some good laps, and got back on his tail and was able to make a move, and started to pull away again, and a lapper, like, held me up so bad on one of the sections, and he got back on my tail again, and it was good racing, good for the fans, good for the sport, and you know, got to do it again.
Seems like it's shaping up to be a different season. A little bit you having to work a bit harder. Are you surprised with Kevin being consistently there? Did you think maybe he'd be hit and miss more?
No, Kevin's a good rider, and he's got a bike that gets him out to a good start. So he's going to be there, and I just need to be there also and be in better shape and be a better rider and really get good starts, and that'll help my scenario.
Awesome job in moto number 1, Ricky. We'll see you in Moto 2.
Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you, Cameron. There are the final results presented by Honda. It's Carmichael, Wyndham, Chad Reed, Tim Ferry, and David Billman holding off to 5th. Sean Hamlin goes 6th. Mike LaRocco makes a lot of passes, good enough for 7th place.
And Larry Ward, who had problems at the start, was able to get all the way up to 13.
Right now, let's send it back down to Cameron Steele, who's with Kevin Wyndham, who finished in 2nd.
Well, Kevin, an awesome race. Were you surprised when you saw Ricky fall over?
Yeah, that don't happen too much, you know, but one thing about him, whenever he does fall, you can bet he's not going to go back to 30th like I did last weekend. He's going to stay up there in a race, and I saw him go down, and I was a little bit tight, you know, riding a little bit not my race, and I was a little disappointed with that. We can make a couple changes, hopefully come out here in the second moto and you know, win the second moto. That's the important one of the two, and see what we can do.
Chad, an awesome ride out there. What a battle you had with Timmy. What was going on out there?
Not much, you know. It was a good race. I know where I stand with Timmy now, and you know, I'm looking forward to the second one for sure. Get a good start and race with you know, Kevin and Ricky. I had them right there, and I just made a few mistakes and they got away from me. So changed a few little things in between the races and come out swinging in the next one.
All right, thank you, Cameron. Upcoming races include Southwick, Mass. on the 8th of June, Budds Creek, Maryland on the 15th, and on July 6th, Buchanan, Michigan. Well, we showed you the top 3 and 4th place was Timmy Ferry. We'll keep an eye on that. Looks like he and Chad are going to get together and exchange travel plans. Before we get to the second race, let's check in with the Racer X Pit Pass.
His first motocross race, but he's a real fan. Say, go Carmichael! Racing here.
When the Thorn Nationals continue, it's time to release Cameron Steele on the track.
23rd on ESPN and ESPN2.
Well, people, if I was lazy like you, I'd be sitting on the couch at home, but no, I'm here in Mount Morris, High Point Raceway. I'm getting ready to take you on the Sobe Suzuki Fast Lap. I'm going to put the camera on my helmet and try to go as fast as the pros. We all know I can't, but don't throw rocks and don't make fun because I'm trying hard, okay? Hey, High Point Raceway, off cambers, got some ruts, kind of scary. Let's go check it out. First thing you'll notice here at High Point is it's a dirt starting line, and it takes you on an uphill drag race to the first corner. You're going to go through a couple sweepers, a left, right, and up over the first tunnel jump. You get into this section, it's downhill step jumps. They're not doubles, and they're hard to time. Every once in a while, you can get over a couple. Most of the time, you're trying to find your line in the rut. Don't want to go down in high side, like that guy there. Off-camber corner, takes you into water, kind of whoops. Some guys will double, some guys will triple. I'm just taking a look here for this first lap. Little rough, lots of wet spots. Up this first climb, lots of roosts flying here. Pick your line, gas it. You're gonna get all the way to the top of this hill, and you're gonna have to find a rut. This place develops tight, deep ruts. Check it out. Guys hopping across, back off down the step down jump, and into this right-hand corner into the muck. A left-hand turn takes you down into a little bit of a gorge, wide open fast till you get the left downhill turn. Some gooey spots here where you're heading to your first big uphill. That's going to take you to the big step-up jump. A hard right turn drives you back down into the new pro section. Head back what was grass in practice. Make a left-hand turn and back up the hill again. And this is going to send you towards the off-cambers. Gonna head downhill. This is the tricky spot of the track. I think it's tough. You gotta find your line, and it's also off camber, so you're sliding out of whatever line or rut you get. Little step down. the uphill triple. One last right-hand corner, you're back at the start line, and that's your Sobe Suzuki Fast Lap.
And folks, that is why Cameron Steele's a rock star. Misses a week and come back strong. John Dowd, though, having all kinds of problems. Number 16, unable to get the bike start. Looking for a bump right there. KTM folks are giving it a push and going out no joy.
I'll just tell you right now, it's hot, and you don't want to be pushing your bike back and forth. John's going to be tired if he ever gets that thing started.
There you see the Suzuki starting grid for Moto number 2. These are the Thor Nationals from High Point Raceway, Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. Todd Harris along with the champ David Bailey and Cameron Steele. Moto number 2 set to go.
And John Dowd's not going to be going with him. Too bad. See if Wyndham can get a little better jump this time. If he can get the start and check out, he may work Ricky even harder than the first moto. Messes you up. When the guy next to you does that, it ruins your concentration, but Carmichael nailed it again.
So Carmichael gets his second consecutive hole shot after picking one up in Moto number 1. Carmichael comes back and repeats in Moto 2. Kevin Wyndham knows exactly how dangerous this is, and it's deja vu all over again. Carmichael, Wyndham, and Chad Reed going 1, 2, and 3 here at the start of Moto number 2.
Both Ricky and Wyndham deciding to double that big tunnel jump right in front of Chad and Villeman. Chad was doing it, but he decided to lay up on the start, play it safe. Didn't lose much time. He's still in contact. I don't think he's going to lose contact with these guys like he did the first moto. He's going to see that. I think he's pretty frustrated with the way things went. He didn't look too happy. He and Tim Perry were giving each other a dirty look after the first moto, so he's perhaps got a little more motivation this time. And Wyndham, once again, real dangerous in these early laps, forcing Ricky to ride perfect.
Kevin Wyndham, number 14 on the factory connection Honda, the big 4-stroke, able to give him some great pulls on those long straightaways. Ricky Carmichael a little more agile. He is on the 2-stroke. Number 4, your leader, Carmichael here in Moto number 2.
Now we heard Kevin talk about the second moto is the more important moto of the two, so that whoever gets this moto win gets the overall. This is where Kevin made his move on Ricky in the last moto on the first lap.
And there's history in the making. Ricky Carmichael looking for number 90, which would put him ahead of Jeremy McGrath with overall victories. Currently tied with 89 with the great Jeremy McGrath. And Kevin Wyndham trying to spoil the party on both fronts.
Whoa, Ricky jumping in there a little crooked. You can see how off camera that all is. Look at Kevin just running over Ricky's foot everywhere. If he was to get the overall, it'd be just about as amazing as Ricky getting his 90th.
Well, the folks at Honda have to be happy with this. Both of them out in front. Carmichael 1, Wyndham number 2. Chad Reed starting to lose contact with these guys once again. And David, is it just the speed and experience of Carmichael and Wyndham?
I think it's the absolute pure riding ability of Kevin Wyndham and the intensity of Ricky Carmichael. These two have just, look at this. Nice move by Kevin.
Wyndham makes a big run on the outside, does not cover the inside, and Carmichael comes right back.
Yeah, Ricky was able to see what was going on there and decided to just lay up and cut back to the inside. Kevin, I think, knew it.
He used so much throttle going into that turn.
Yeah, he knew Ricky was going to square back under him. That's why he was able to save it when they made contact. Ricky going for the double. Kevin lays it up. Every time Ricky gets away from him, Kevin reels him back in, so he's not riding tight this moto.
Right now, let's check in with Cameron Steele.
Well, John, not a fun position to be in. What happened?
I don't know. I mean, I went around and did the parade lap. The bike ran fine, and I came down here, and I thought it stalled, but I wasn't sure. I kicked it. It started. Almost just like, I mean, it happened last week, too. I don't know. We had an electrical problem last week, and it seems to be the same thing. There's no spark in the bike, so ignition just kind of decided to crap out right on the line here. So, I don't know. I mean, those things are weird like that. When they go, they just go, but, man, it's 2 weeks in a row. I'm a little bummed out about it now.
That's too bad for John. And the next round at Southwick will be a track that will be great for him, and he was building some momentum heading into that, but now he's just got to sit and watch. And it's good. If you're going to watch one, this is the one to watch.
Certainly worth the price of admission. Carmichael on the left. He will lose the lead. No, he won't. He squares it off. Kevin Wyndham put himself in a perfect position, and Wyndham comes right back. Look at this. Carmichael is in the lead. Wyndham is in second. David, have you seen racing this close for a long time?
Not in a while. Ricky's probably like, hey, get away from me, man. I'm supposed to be pulling away when I ride this hard. And this time, Chad Reed, like I was thinking, he's right there watching it.
Well, Kevin Wyndham talked to Cameron Steele after the first moto about riding tight. Certainly not doing that here. He is right on the back end of Ricky Carmichael, your leader, moto number 2. We'll be back with more after this. There's your running order. Welcome back to the AMA Chevy Trucks U.S. Motocross Championships. The Thor Nationals from Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, moto number 2. Todd Harris along with David Bailey. And there is David Villeman sitting in 4th place, but he's being reeled in by his teammate, Tim Ferry, number 15.
You can see that David saw that one coming. Pretty much just looked over and went, all right, well, since this guy was catching me 2.5 seconds a lap, might as well just go ahead and follow him around. Maybe he can hitch a ride and get up to challenge Chad Reed. You can see just going around that off camber right there. Villeman, I just don't think he feels he's got the fitness to battle, or the pace really to battle Ferry. Ferry got a poor start this time, but it seemed like he went into panic mode. He's going a lot faster than he did in the first moto.
So it's Villeman in 5th, Tim Ferry in 4th, Chad Reed in 3rd right now, and Carmichael is your leader, followed closely, and I reiterate closely, by Kevin Wyndham. Here's the pass one more time. Villeman on the right.
Yeah, those ruts down there. It's a little risky to go to the inside. It's hard to get over there, but Timmy's just riding really well. And he's very motivated. He wants to get up there and beat Chad, try to get 3rd overall, and he's got to get around Villeman to do it. Villeman wasn't going to fight with him. The Team Yamaha is looking great. The one thing that spoils it is there's always a Honda or two in front of them all.
Chad Reed, number 22, sits in 3rd. He is the 3rd part of that Yamaha team that goes 3, 4, and 5. Ricky Carmichael, your leader, and there you see the distance, 6 seconds back for Chad Reed, and Kevin Wyndham is still awaiting Reed. And I don't know if Reed has the juice to catch Kevin Wyndham, let alone Ricky Carmichael.
No, he's not going to catch Ricky. Ricky would have to crash, and even if he fell in the first moto and still was able to win it. I think Chad is, when I watch him, he looks fast, but just not fast enough. These guys were a lot closer to the front last year as well.
That's number 11, Ezra Lusk, on board the Kawasaki, just behind number 33, Sean Hamlin, who sits in 7th place. Lusk trying to get back into the form that he had at stop number 2 of the Supercross in Phoenix, Arizona. But Sean Hamlin, though, has been on fire, and this kid is riding so well for Roger DeCoster. Right now, let's go outside the lines with Sean Hamlin.
Well, we originally got our invitation from the Blue Angels a year ago, and one of the people on their crew is a big motocross fan and contacted us and said they were interested in doing a VIP flight for some of our riders.
We actually got in touch with them, did some emails, came out to the races. Big fan, like I said, every time there's a race in town, we'd be out there. Sean's a new rider. He's a privateer, had an awesome ability to come to Team Suzuki, and we're just proud to have all the guys out here and showing them what we got.
You're going to feel some effects on your body today that you're not normally used to.
Yeah.
Main thing going to be the positive and negative G-forces. Positive G-forces, simply stated, is the blood leaving your head, trying to go to your feet. To combat that, what you do, tighten up your abs and bear down and grab those leg restraints and pull them real hard. What you do is you're going to say hic. It's H-I, breathe out, C-K, you're breathing in. It's going to go something like this. Hic, hic, hic. Just like that about every 3 seconds.
The whole time I'm up there?
No.
Going, geez, man, that's going to be a lot of hicks.
Your pilot today is going to be who we refer to as number 7. That's Lieutenant Craig Olson, call sign Merlin. He's been in the Navy now for about 12 years, has well over about 1,200 flight hours. I was an instructor pilot at his last command, and he's done several tours overseas in support of combat operations.
I want to last the whole time. They say it's like about a 35, 40-minute flight, so hopefully everything goes well and we can have fun. My life has changed so much since I got signed with Sobi Suzuki. I mean, opportunity of a lifetime just to ride with the team, and now even to go up in a jet with the Blue Angels is definitely something that I've always wanted to do, and an experience that I'll never forget.
Here we go. Maintenance point 07, taxi. Roger that, sir. Have a great flight. We'll go, thanks. Okay, we're approaching 300. Y'all set? I'm all set. All right, ready. Hit it. You ready for some G's? I guess so. All right, get your hick on. Here we go. So you're so used to this, you don't have to do jack diddly squats. Yeah, I don't have to work very hard at the hicking anymore. I'm pretty used to it. All right, inverted flight. You all set? I think so. Here we go. Upside down, 1,000 feet. Not bad, huh? Not too bad. I feel like I'm gonna fall out. We could go all the way home like this, should we? Probably not. All right.
Sean, I think, enjoyed the entire flight. He liked the high-performance climb, and he liked basically the transit where we could look down into Mexico and down on the world, and then as we were out in the area, flying low over the sand dunes, and I think his favorite part was the high-speed flight.
Passing out. Huh? Almost ready to pass out. All right, well, he's
I think we pulled 7.5 Gs, and it was definitely kind of starting to make me black out a little bit, but everything worked out fine. I mean, I never came close to puking at all, and it felt good.
All right, Sean, we got 3 down locks. Flaps are down full. Hooks up, skids on, and we're cleared to land. Oh, yeah, my butt's going to be sore tomorrow. They don't give you guys too comfy of seats in here. No, they don't, do they? No, not really.
Definitely a lifetime experience that I'll never forget. This is truly a dream come true, man. This definitely went for a ride of my life, for crying out loud. It was awesome. I'm speechless. He did everything I guess he could possibly do with me in it. We went as fast as basically sound carries, and definitely gave me more respect for these guys that fly these things and protect our country.
Welcome back to Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, and this is a flashback in time. Ricky Carmichael's first career win, Gainesville, Florida, the Gatorback Nationals. And David, we have come a long way. He is on the cusp now of picking up number 90 here at Mount Morris.
Looks like a little kid there. He shedded some weight, got a lot more serious, refined his skills, and has been unstoppable 89 times.
Carmichael is your leader here, moto number 2. Kevin Windham sits in second. Chad Reed, number 22, sits in third.
But look who's catching him. Tim Ferry. I said, even Chad made a mention of it, and it was a little bit of a gray area there, but I don't think these guys are stoked with each other, and Timmy is going to do whatever he can to get around him in this second and most important moto for the overall. If he can get around him, he'll get third and be on the podium.
Chad Reed, number 22, on board the Yamaha. Tim Ferry, number 15 on the Yamaha, takes an inside line and a beautiful pass, and that is not going to go over well with Chad Reed. Gets a little bit of a roost as well.
That was a no respect, I don't care if you're my teammate type of pass right there. You must have a reason to make a pass like that. You have to be aggressive. I mean, there was nothing really dirty about it, but if your teammate, usually try to get in there and not hit the guy's front wheel. That was Timmy going, you know what, you're just in the way. I don't like you. I want to pass you, and that's the end of that.
Well,
you don't like it, you can fight with me later, but right now I want third.
Does Yamaha have a problem on their hands with Ferry, with Reed, with Villeman? Do they have too much talent for 110?
I don't think so. Another look at it, just slices up the hill and little contact right there. I mean, he knew it was going to be contact, but he wanted the pass done. And for Yamaha, I think it's not a disaster unless these guys start taking each other out to have that much aggression and motivation on the team. Honda has the same scenario with Ricky and Kevin, and look how far ahead they are.
Carmichael takes a look over to find out exactly where Kevin Windham is. This is the final lap, moto number 2 from Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, and I think Carmichael can start to feel it.
Well, he had to work for it today, and 90 wins. It's amazing. It's going to be tough for anybody to catch that, and I would imagine next year he'll be going after 100 or maybe more than that, and putting up Richard Petty kind of numbers.
Ricky Carmichael and Team Honda have something to be proud of. 90 overall victories. More importantly, today, he picks up a 1-1 finish. So for Carmichael, it's been a great weekend here at Mount Morris High Point Raceway. The Thor Nationals have been very, very good to him, and he will remember this weekend for a long time. But Ricky said at the start of the show, David, the most important thing is the title.
Oh, that's all under control right now. He keeps looking over to see where Kevin is. He's got one straightaway to go for the checkered flag, but he's won every moto except the first moto at Hangtown when Kevin checked out. With the points lead he has now, he can afford to let Kevin go sometimes.
Pound for pound, the most tenacious, fastest rider on the planet, number 4, your winner, Ricky Carmichael. Well, it's Ricky's moment to shine, and what a great day of riding. Carmichael picks up the 1-1 victories. We take a look at the Honda final results. It's Carmichael, Wyndham, Ferry, Chad Reed, and David Villeman. Your thoughts, David?
Well, Ricky just needs to keep doing what he's doing. I think Wyndham, going into this week off, needs to look at what's missing. Everything is dialed, but he's coming up short. Needs to search for that missing piece.
Right now, let's send it down to Cameron Steele and Kevin Wyndham.
Well, Kevin, 2-2 today for second overall, your first podium since your return. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm happy to put behind the 450 and all my sponsors, Factory Connection, No Fear, Lee Dungaree Jeans, Alpine Star Boots, Harai Helmets, Michelin Tires, and Spy Goggles. Got a long list of guys who's helping me get back in the scene, and you know, it feels good. I'm where I need to be. I mean, I've been off for a year and a half. I've got some things to work on, some polishing to do. I'm riding against the winningest rider of all time, so you know, you definitely got to be on your toes, but everything's good. We'll be there.
That second moto, it looked like you were right there. You guys had a little bit of a fray, and then it got away from you a little bit. Any thoughts on that? Why? Is it training? Is it, I mean, the track? Was it a little bit hard to ride the 450 as it got stiffer out there?
Well, I think that it was mostly just me. I was a little bit off this weekend, just a little bit. It may not be something you could see just by watching, but I just, you know, something wasn't clicking. I felt like I was missing some of my ruts and stuff, and I was hanging it out to ride with Ricky and to stay up there, and I just kind of was a little bit slow this weekend. And that's what happens when you're riding a little tight. You pump up, and you know, I think my training's fine. It's proven to be strong at every other race. Just this weekend, I was a little bit off, and it showed.
Awesome job for a guy riding tight. I get second place. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, you know, and just again, you know, it's great to be here, and I'm just stoked to be up on the podium.
Thanks, Kevin. We'll see you at Southwick.
Thank you.
Well, the job of catching Ricky Carmichael will not get any easier. Over the next 5 stops on the tour, Ricky Carmichael is 24-5. An amazing feat as we look at the Honda overall results. Carmichael goes 1-1, Wyndham 2-2. Then it's Ferry, Reed, and Villeman rounding out the top 5. LaRocco's in there, as is Ezra Luss. Right now, let's send it back down to Cameron.
Tim Ferry, a 4-3 for third overall. Timmy, you had quite the battle today with Chad Reed. What was going on with you guys?
I don't know. We were just we were so close in speed. It seemed like one lap he was faster, one lap I was faster. And he got me the first moto. I got by at one point, but he come back on the inside of me, and I couldn't get him back. And I was stoked to get by him that second moto.
You know, when you go back to the semi in between races, you know, you guys are in the same tractor. Is it hard to be teammates and be guys that are just really battling out on the track?
Yeah, it is sometimes. It's sometimes tough, you know, because everybody wants to win. And, you know, I wasn't too happy after the first moto getting beat. And, you know, I'm sure he's not happy right now, you know, back at the semi. So that's just the way it goes. And, you know, he's my teammate, and we get along, you know, pretty well. So, you know, it was just a good, clean racing.
Great job, Red Dog. We'll see you at Southwick.
All right, thanks, Kevin.
So Tim Ferry gets onto the podium, but the day belongs to that man, Ricky Carmichael, who picks up the 1-1, the 90th victory. The list goes on and on as we look at the AMA U.S. Motocross point standings. There is Ricky Carmichael in first, Reed second, Ferry third, and then Kevin Wyndham. Let's send it back down to Cameron Steele, who's with Ricky Carmichael. Cameron.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the winningest dirt bike rider of all time, 90 AMA wins. Ricky Carmichael, congratulations.
Thanks. I can't believe it. You know, it hasn't sunken in yet. You know, it's something that I never intended on doing. And, you know, I just going out there and racing and working hard, and all that stuff comes, you know. You can't worry about that. And what I did today is awesome. I'm happy to say I'm the best rider ever in the sport. And, you know, I just can't believe it. You know, I got to thank my sponsors, everyone who's helped me get to this point from the beginning of my career till this current point right now. And, it was well worked for today. Kevin was riding really, really good.
You were doing battle with Kevin Windham at the same time doing battle with history. How does that weigh on your mind? I mean, you're worried about maybe coming in with a block pass or two, Kevin, you and he back and forth, and then history at the same time.
You know, Kevin's an excellent rider, and it was fun to race him. You know, kept it as clean as we could to get the job done, and you know, he's great. And to be honest with you, I wasn't even thinking about the record today. I was just racing Kevin and trying to get a win and trying to build some points. And you know, we checked out today, and we were the 2 fastest guys, and it was nice. I'm glad I came out on top, but it's fun to race Kevin. You know, he's an excellent rider, and we're going to have a good series.
When you came in as a professional, Jeremy McGrath already established. Today you rode with his name and your name on the back of your pants, the 89. It's got to be a special feeling to, I mean, bump a guy that's been so great for the sport off the top.
Definitely. You know, like I said, I can't believe it, and to do that is awesome, and to beat, you know, Jeremy is awesome. He's such a great guy. He's done so much for the sport. You know, he took it to another level after Johnson and Bradshaw and Stanton did, and then, you know, I think it's my time now, and hopefully I can follow in his footsteps and do a good job like he did, be good for the sport, and try to get as many fans out here as we can. It's just unbelievable.
Ricky, officially today, you're not following anybody's footsteps anymore. Great job, Ricky.
Thanks a lot. It feels good. You know, I'm not shadowed by anyone anymore, and man, it's just phenomenal.
Great job, Ricky. We'll see you at Southwick.
Thanks a lot.
And remember, folks, he's only 23 years of age. Congratulations to Ricky Carmichael, the all-time winningest rider. So on behalf of the champ, David Bailey and Cameron Steele, I'm Todd Harris saying so long from Mount Morris, Pennsylvania and High Point Raceway. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. So long, everybody.